Hi guys! Today I wanted to talk about Pinterest references and whether we should use them or not. Since I started drawing, I also created a Pinterest account so I can browse for references. Our brain is like a library, so we need to gather knowledge. Using Pinterest references is like doing that. I mean, every time we draw a pose, we learn it, especially if we draw it a few times, you know? So, I personally use a lot of references while I draw my characters. I don't feel super confident yet just drawing from my head all the time. And I think a lot of artists I know do that. A lot of artists on Instagram do that. So it's really good to use references. Now, the difference is how we use them. If you copy a reference, for example, you have this girl, okay? And if you copy it completely, same hair, same clothes, same skin tone, everything the same, I suggest to mention that you use this reference from Pinterest. You can also attach it to your image or mention the model if you can. I mean, this might be from a clothing brand, but anyways, just mention that you found it on Pinterest. If it's someone's photo and you can find their Instagram or anything else, just mention them. But if you use the reference for the pose and you do like I did here, you change the hair color, the skin tone, the clothes a bit. I mean, this is a totally different character. Of course, I could still mention that I took it from Pinterest, but I think now everybody knows that I use Pinterest a lot for my drawing, so that's why I don't always mention it. But sometimes I attach the real photo as well. I gathered here a few examples of my finished drawings and the references I used. This is another one, and it's a good example because I used it mainly for the pose, but you can see there are some changes even in the pose. I mean, the hand is different, the position of the legs. I didn't draw her bonnet, or what's the name for that? And the shape of the clothes is similar, but colors and everything is different. Even the flowers are different. So it's a totally different character. That's how I use references. I don't copy them entirely. This is also an example of how I used it for the pose. So I could see the arms and everything, and you can see even if I used it as a reference, I didn't exactly manage to do it like the photo. Sometimes I just can't, or I just don't want to, you know? So I made her bust a bit bigger, and also the hips, and her hair is different, and her entire outfit. This is pretty similar with the photo, that's why I attached the original on Instagram when I made the post. But of course I made a few changes in colors mainly, and also on the table, on the things on the table, her outfit, her face, it's entirely different, but the pose is there. This is another example. I like the pose and I wanted to use it for this drawing. So, as you can see, I drew the pose more or less because it's not entirely the same position, but close enough. As you can see here, I took the pose of the character, pretty much similar, but I changed her clothes, and then I added this whole thing around it, the whole room. My advice would be that if you use a reference and it's really similar, you have to mention the person in the picture or simply mention that you got it from Pinterest. If it's just a pose you copied but changed a lot of it and it's not recognizable, I think that's just fine, and there's no need to mention that you got it from Pinterest. I mean, it's still okay to let people know that you use a reference to draw it, but I think most of us know by now that lots of artists use references for their poses, and it's completely fine. Hope you enjoyed this mini video and see you next time. Bye!